what's the solution to the problem? Using a new configuration for NAT. Well, it's not all that new. It's been around since early 12 code, but it's known as NAT Virtual Interface configurations. Unlike classic NAT, we do not specify at all inside and outside interfaces. We don't care about inside-outside. We don't have to specify that. And as a result, with these NAT virtual interfaces, there's a different order of operations. And this different order of operations is really important. Here's how it works. We send a packet. The router does routing. The router then does NAT translation. It then routes again based on the translation that has occurred. So it's routing, translated, and then routing based on the translation that has occurred again. So that would solve our problem whereby we wanted to communicate from inside to inside. If we're using NVIs instead, NAT virtual interfaces, because of the route, translate, route process, our clients will then be able to get to that web server because we're essentially doing something like this. Route, translate, route, and we bring it back down. That's essentially what we're doing in that particular case. So the NAT virtual interface configuration is slightly different, and the differences are important for you to realize. We're still defining our private IP address range here. So 192.168.10.0 through 192.168.10.255 in this particular example. And notice on the interfaces we are saying IP NAT enable. Just turn on NAT. Just turn on NAT. There's no inside-outside interfaces as we stated. And notice that this command is no longer IP NAT inside source because we don't have inside interfaces, so we can't specify that this is the inside interface IP addresses that are translated to public IP addresses. That's not how it works anymore. We're simply saying IP NAT source. So the source address is coming from the access control list with a number of 10. Doesn't matter what interface it comes in on. It doesn't matter. And when you receive a packet from an IP address in that access control list, you can translate it to the IP address associated with interface Ethernet 0/1, which would be our interface connected to the ISP. And we're overloading on that, so we're doing port address translation in this case. You could also use dynamic NAT, have a pool of addresses, and port address translate on that, as we've seen. It's all possibilities here in this case. But that's the NVI configuration, giving us a little more flexibility with network address translation, removing some of the limitations that we have with network address translation, and ensuring that we can do those inside to inside translations that would be necessary if we're trying to access that public IP address of a web server from inside, and we're trying to go in a roundabout fashion to get there.